Hey everybody, I'm Bill Panoff with Porthole Cruise and Travel, and today I'm joined by Chance McKee, the Trade Development Representative of Vancouver Fraser Port Authority, and Krista Alcazar, the Director of Market Development at Destination Vancouver. Today we'll be talking about what's new for cruisers of Vancouver and how the port and city are enhancing guest experiences and why Vancouver continues to be the top choice for cruise lines and travelers alike. Let's start with Chance. Chance, can you give us an overview of Canada Place Terminal and what guests can expect when they embark on a Vancouver cruise?
Yeah, absolutely. The Canada Place Cruise Terminal here at the Port of Vancouver really is a remarkable terminal and truly is unique in its offerings for our passengers as well as our cruise lines. It's set in the heart of downtown Vancouver. It is surrounded by the beautiful blue waters of the Pacific Northwest Ocean, and all of that is set against a backdrop of a really fantastic, breathtaking mountain landscape. So the terminal itself, though, was actually built and completed in 1985, and it was originally to serve for the 1986 World Expo. It actually has become a tourist destination in its own right, and truly has become a Canadian iconic landmark. So when guests are sailing from the Canada Place Cruise Terminal, they're getting to do so from this really beautiful, iconic landmark set in a fantastic port. Also, whenever cruise guests leave Canada Place in the Port of Vancouver, because of our general geographic location, unparalleled access to the Inside Passage, which is something that cruise guests only get whenever they leave the Port of Vancouver heading up to Alaska. So kind of see why the Port of Vancouver remains a favorite jumping off point for millions of cruise passengers every single year.
I can attest to it because I've sailed a few times out of Vancouver and it's absolutely stunning.
It is indeed.
Yeah. Krista, from Destination Vancouver's perspective, what makes Vancouver a unique destination to add on a pre or post stay for that matter?
Yeah, well, as Chance was mentioning, Vancouver is a city situated in nature. So we are surrounded by the Pacific Ocean. We're situated in a temperate rainforest. We have mountains right in the city. So there are so many opportunities for people to enjoy both urban activities while also getting out into nature and enjoying a variety of outdoor activities. So this really gives cruise visitors coming to Vancouver a lot of sightseeing options for varying interests as well as different activity levels. The cruise ships also pull right into Canada Place in downtown Vancouver, which I think is something very unique. So guests will have access to all the sightseeing options as soon as they step off of the cruise ship, which is quite convenient and makes it really easy for them to make the most of their time in the city.
Absolutely. Chance, why is Port Vancouver such an attractive home port for cruise lines?
Yeah, I think for the reasons that both Krista and myself have kind of already mentioned, and some more that I'm sure we'll get into as the conversation progresses, it really is easy to see why the Port of Vancouver has endured as a favorite home port for both cruise lines as well as their passengers. When you look at it from the passenger perspective, they benefit from the location of the terminal, again, set in the heart of downtown Vancouver, as well as just the natural beauty of the port itself. Extremely walkable, so it's very easy to navigate as well. When you look at it from the cruise line's perspective, we offer a comprehensive suite of services that allow all of our cruise lines who are visiting, it allows their ships to conduct those turnaround operations really efficiently. And we know that that's so crucial when it comes to the actual operation for our cruise line customers, being able to provide a fantastic experience for their passengers as well. So they can conduct those restocking, reprovisioning operations, conduct any sort of refueling operation that they may need to do as well, and then undergo any maintenance prior to their next voyage, should they require that. The Port of Vancouver also, something that a lot of people don't realize, is 140 nautical miles closer to Alaska than the other major home port here in the Pacific Northwest. So when you think of that from a fuel economy perspective as well for our cruise lines, it makes the Port of Vancouver extremely attractive, plus our scenic route, which I touched on earlier as well.
Oh, good points. Krista, how does the Vancouver culture and food scene and attractions play a role in attracting cruise visitors?
Well, I think Vancouver has a lot to offer, and we'll get into a lot of these fantastic experiences in our conversation. I think it's also good to be aware that Vancouver is situated on the unceded territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh people, which are Indigenous groups that are local to Vancouver. So visitors to Vancouver have the opportunity to learn about their history and culture and the connection they've had. We have attractions that do feature a lot of Indigenous art or artifacts that have been sort of part of their culture throughout the years, including the Vancouver Art Gallery, the Bill Reid Gallery, as well as the Museum of Anthropology. So those are great places to go and actually learn more about the different artists we have locally and from across Canada. We're also fortunate that Vancouver is a very multicultural city with people from all over the world who have chosen Vancouver as their home. And with that comes an inclusive and welcoming spirit, as well as fantastic culinary options. We have options ranging from gourmet food trucks to Michelin-starred restaurants and everything in between, as well as unique food tours and brewery tours, so guests can try some of our local cuisine and craft beer, which are always fantastic options.
Chance, looking ahead to guests even before they arrive, how does the port prepare to ensure like a smooth experience for them?
Yeah, the Port of Vancouver, for us, preparation and collaboration, they really are key to our cruise sector success here. We understand that when people are traveling, the small things have a big impact, right? Oftentimes, though, when they're done right, you don't notice them, but when they're not done right, they can really impact your overall travel experience. Sure. So that's what we aim to do whenever we're collaborating with our cruise line customers, as well as destination management partners like Destination Vancouver, and our terminal operator as well. So when it comes to working with our cruise line customers, our focus is really on metering the flow of embarking guests so that we create that steady flow within the terminal throughout the day, as opposed to sudden influxes of thousands of cruise passengers at one time, which obviously can lead to longer wait times and contribute to a less than ideal passenger experience. When it comes to working with destination management partners like Destination Vancouver, they provide hundreds of volunteers to us every single cruise season. So we want to make sure that we're providing them the most accurate and up-to-date information, so that they can make sure that their volunteers are able to provide that on-the-ground support to our cruise passengers. And then when it comes to working with SSA Marine, one of the things that we implemented last year, which we've been doing again this year, are passenger journey timings. Essentially what those are is we time from the point cruise passenger enters the cruise terminal to the time they board their actual cruise ship. We're trying to identify any of those choke points in that actual passenger journey so that we can adjust our operation accordingly. And what we have seen, because of the improvements that we've made over the past 2 years, past 2 cruise seasons, is that passenger journey time has actually been reduced by about 10 minutes. So rather than it taking 37 minutes for a cruise passenger to enter the terminal, go through all of the screening, security, etc., and then board their cruise ship, it now takes around 27 minutes. And I think that speaks to and how much we focus on creating a really seamless cruise passenger experience within the terminal itself.
That's impressive information. Krista, in terms of getting around the city, what are the transportation options for cruise guests to access attractions and sightseeing activities?
Well, the great thing about Vancouver is we have tons of different options. So depending on what your preference is to get around, we probably have an option for you. Vancouver is a very compact, walkable downtown core. So walking is actually one of the best ways to explore the downtown area. However, there is a lot to see even further abroad from the downtown core. And the other thing that's great is the city's very bike friendly. So we actually have designated bike lanes that make it really safe and easy to get around the city by bike. We have our fantastic seawall as well that is a paved path going around the perimeter of the city along the water. So that can be a beautiful area to either walk or ride a bike. But of course, like every city, we have taxis, we have Uber. We also have our public transit system, of course, which is very easy to use. We have the Canada line, which I always like to mention to people. A lot of people don't realize we have this fantastic option where you can take a 25-minute SkyTrain from the airport right to Waterfront Station, which is right
wow.
next to the cruise terminal. So very easy to connect between the airport and downtown. We also have a lot of attractions sort of around the port area. So areas like Gastown, which is our historic neighborhood, is very walkable, as well as Stanley Park, which is definitely a top place to visit in the city. But I would also encourage people to explore a little bit further. Right at Canada Place at the cruise terminal, there are free shuttles taking guests over to our North Shore Mountains, where two of our top attractions are, which are Capilano Suspension Bridge Park and Grouse Mountain. But there are also many sightseeing companies. There's Land Sea Tours, Discover Canada Tours, and West Coast Sightseeing, who can pick guests up right at the port with their luggage and everything and take them on a fantastic guided experience of the city. So many different options for guests depending on what they're looking for.
Chance, Canada Place welcomed the largest number of cruise guests of any port in Canada. Can you describe the role of SSA Marine as the terminal operator to ensuring everything runs smoothly for both guests and cruise ships?
Absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, the Canada Place Cruise Terminal was completed in 1985, and it was for the 1986 World Expo. It was not built to accommodate the high volumes that we see in today's modern cruise industry, but it's not stopped us from continuing to be ranked as one of North America's leading cruise ports. In fact, this year, the World Travel Awards actually named the Port of Vancouver and our cruise terminal as North America's leading cruise port. So, we work really closely with SSA Marine on addressing some of our biggest challenges. One of those being creating a very seamless embark-debark experience for cruise passengers. And the other one just ensuring that, we're managing the day-to-day operations of a major home port that's located in the downtown core of a major city efficiently and effectively as well. We work really closely with them in ensuring that we're investing in the right types of improvements. Our aim is to, boost the capacity of the terminal itself, enhance that overall cruise passenger experience, and also work to enhance the sustainability of our operation in partnership with SSA Marine, as well as our cruise line customers. One of the actual really exciting investments that we made last cruise season, which has had an incredible impact on the actual cruise passenger journey, is working with SSA Marine as well as US Customs and Border Protection to implement facial biometrics processing for
fantastic.
embarking Canadian and US passengers. Yeah, and what that's done is it's actually reduced the time that it takes for a cruise passenger to be processed through US Customs by 94%. So previously, with the passport kiosks that we had in place, it took around 2 to 3 minutes per passenger to be processed through that area. It's now taking around 10 seconds.
Wow.
So when we're talking about boosting capacity and improving the overall passenger experience, that's an initiative that we did in order to do exactly those two things. And it actually made the Port of Vancouver the first cruise port, seaport, I should say, in Canada to actually implement this technology. So really trying to be on the cutting edge of these improvements when it comes to servicing the cruise industry.
Well, Krista, as a cosmopolitan city, there are several hotel options to choose from. Do you have any recommendations?
Yes, well, we have many hotel options in Vancouver, everything from all of the, global brands that are, well known around the world to also independent boutique properties. So depending on what the person is looking for, I think there's lots to choose from. Usually I recommend considering whether they want to have the ocean views and the mountain views, because a lot of the hotel properties that are located closer to Canada Place will have those beautiful, amazing views to enjoy. The alternative would be to choose a hotel. It's maybe more centrally located in the downtown core, which gives you really easy walking access to restaurants and shopping. Also, though, you would only still be about a 15-minute walk to Canada Place. So everything's very accessible. But all our hotels are also in walking distance from one of the Canada Line stations. So, if they are coming in from the airport, or maybe they're doing a post-stay after their cruise, it's also very easy to walk to one of the SkyTrain stations to access to go to the airport.
Thank you. Krista, for guests who are planning to stay in Vancouver pre or post, do you have any inside tips that can help them have the best experience possible?
Yes, for sure. I mean, one of the top experiences that people love to enjoy in Vancouver is going for a bike ride around Stanley Park. And actually many of the hotels that we have offer complimentary bike rentals included with the stay. So I always recommend to people to watch for that when they're booking their hotel. If that is an activity they're looking to do, you might actually have that service complimentary with your hotel stay.
Oh, nice, nice.
The other question we get asked quite often is, I'm coming off the cruise, or, I'm here a day early before the cruise and I want to store my luggage. I want to go out and do some sightseeing, but where can I leave my luggage? So there is luggage storage available at Canada Place. Just storing your bags there, and then off you go. You can do a hop on, hop off, or any of the sightseeing tours. But also some of the guided sightseeing companies will also accommodate luggage. So both of those options would be a good little tip for you.
Awesome. Chance, what are some of the key benefits cruise tourism brings to the city and to the local economy?
Yeah, we're really fortunate in the fact that Vancouver loves cruise. And there's a really strong understanding of the benefits that this industry and this sector bring, not just locally, but also regionally and nationally as well. In a recent economic impact study that the port undertook, it was actually found that cruise lines, their passengers, and their crew spend on average $1.1 billion just locally every single cruise season. When you kind of look at that from the cruise lines side of things, cruise lines spend around $660 million conducting those turnaround operations here at the port, restocking, refueling, and conducting that maintenance that they need to undergo. And then when you look at it from the cruise passenger side of things, cruise passengers spend on average around $450 each on things like local accommodation, restaurants, tourist attractions, etc. So the economic impact of Vancouver's cruise industry truly cannot be overstated. A fun fact that we do like to share is that each cruise ship that calls the Canada Place Cruise Terminal injects about $3 million into our local economy. Wow. So again, the economic impact there can't be overstated.
Amazing. Wow. Krista, are there seasonal events or highlights that particularly align when cruise ships arrive?
Yeah, definitely. We have tons of great festivals and events that are happening year-round, but in particular during the cruise season, there's lots to enjoy. A few highlights would include our Jazz Festival. We also have our big Celebration of Lights Festival, which is a fireworks competition where 3 different countries compete with a fireworks performance that's timed to music. So that's really popular for visitors as well as, locals that are just looking to enjoy the show. We also have Carnaval del Sol, which is a Latin cultural festival, as well as our Pride Festival. So lots of variety as well in terms of the types of events that we have on offer.
Wow. Chance, sustainability is an increasingly important focus for the cruise lines, for the economies. How is Port Vancouver addressing this in its cruise operations?
Yeah, the Port of Vancouver, we're a Canadian port. So we have a mandate to actually enable trade while protecting the environment. It's part of our actual purpose as an organization. And we do that by implementing, a suite of programs in order to ensure that the Port of Vancouver is actually contributing to doing just that. One of those is shore power. Shore power actually was implemented at the Port of Vancouver in 2009. And it made the Port of Vancouver the first cruise port in Canada and third globally to implement this technology in service to the cruise industry. Since its implementation in 2009, it's actually helped to reduce and prevent 50,000 tons worth of greenhouse gas emissions here in Vancouver, which is the equivalent of removing about 11,750, so just under 12,000 gas-powered vehicles off the road for an entire year. So extremely impactful initiative there. The Port of Vancouver is also actually a first mover in the Pacific Northwest to Alaska cruise-led green corridor. And what that initiative is it's actually advancing work to study the feasibility of having 4 cruise ships sailing from Alaska to British Columbia to the state of Washington using green methanol by 2032. So it's a hugely collaborative effort across municipalities, international governments, port authorities, obviously, as well as all of our cruise lines. So that's really exciting to see as well. And then this past cruise season, 2025 cruise season, the Port of Vancouver for the first time began offering LNG bunkering services to any cruise ships that are equipped to refuel with LNG. And we're undertaking all of these efforts because not only are they important to us locally, but we really are trying to help the cruise industry advance their sustainability efforts.
Standing ovation. Well done. Really, that's remarkable.
Thank
Krista,
you.
how do you measure the success of Destination Vancouver's pre and post cruise initiatives?
Well, in partnership with the port, as well as the International Airport and Destination British Columbia, we conduct a biannual passenger survey to understand how long cruise passengers stayed in Vancouver, how much they spend on their trip, which attractions and activities they want to go to. So we can really understand the economic impact the cruise industry has, which, of course, Chance has been speaking to, and some of those numbers are significant.
Sure. Yes.
So really, we're trying to grow the length of stay that people are staying in the hotels, of course, promoting our attractions and all the fantastic experiences we have to offer so that we ensure that our local businesses are benefiting from the business coming in from the cruise season.
Yeah. Chance, what kind of support and services does the port provide to making their time in Vancouver more enjoyable for cruise guests?
Yeah, again, downtown location, that's pretty enjoyable for cruise guests. The walkability factor alone consistently has the Port of Vancouver ranked in the top 10 of most walkable ports globally, which is always fantastic to see. And we're just a scenic port as well, so it's always just an enjoyable time for cruise passengers. Oftentimes, the feedback that we receive from our cruise passengers, whether anecdotally or as part of our passenger surveys that we undertake, is that they wish they had booked more time in Vancouver, either pre-cruise or after their cruise. I think a lot of cruise passengers don't necessarily think of Vancouver as being an additional destination as part of their cruise itinerary. And I think it's something that when they come here, they realize, oh, this is a destination in and of itself that is worth exploring, even for a couple of days. We have that much to offer. As Krista mentioned as well, the various hotels that we have, fantastic shopping, a buzzing food scene, as Krista outlined. Sure. All of those are also available to cruise passengers, both pre and post cruise. And then we have those fantastic ground transportation options as well, like Krista mentioned, the Sky Train that's directly from the cruise terminal to Vancouver's International Airport, taxis and ride-hailing services right outside the cruise terminal, and then a direct-to-bus program that we've implemented here at the terminal as well that sees passengers and their luggage taken directly off the cruise ship. They board a bus and they're taken directly to the airport without the need to clear Canadian customs here at the cruise terminal. So it's a more expedited and efficient experience for them as well.
Well, thank you so much. I'm Bill Panoff. You're watching Porthole Cruise and Travel.